Hello and welcome to yet another class of problem solving techniques. So in this particular class we will be dealing with another problem solving technique for the problems which you encounter in simple equations. Once again we will be picking up the problems from our assignment, which is located at following link, and keys and solutions are also located at the respective links. These links have also been copied in the description of this video for your ease of access, so that you can copy them and paste them in your browser and hence access them. So let's get started. So we have picked up 8th problem in level 1 for that. So the problem goes like this: three pieces of cakes of 4.5, 6 3/4 and 7 1/5 weights are to be divided among equal parts. So these three pieces have to be divided among equal parts. Each part must be as heavy as possible. Note that each part must be as heavy as possible. If one such part is served to each guest, then what is the minimum number of guests that could be served? So, important things here are that weights are to be divided into equal parts. Each part must be as heavy as possible. And if one such part is served to each guest, then what is the minimum number of guests that could be served? So we have to minimize the number of guests which we have to serve. So we will come to this minimum number of guests that could be served. First, let's concentrate upon first two parts. That is, weights are to be divided into equal parts and each part must be as heavy as possible. So let me list down the weights again. So first one is 4.5, second one is 6 3/4, third one is 7 1/5. Since the unit is not given, I can assume it anything I like. Let me assume it is kg. Now I don't like dealing in fractions: 4.5, 6 3/4, 7 1/5. So let me convert it into grams. That would be better. So it is 4500 grams. This is 6750 grams. And third one is 720 grams. Sorry, 7200 grams it is. Sorry about that. So this is 7200 grams. So now we have to divide them among equal parts. That is the first thing. So suppose I divide, say, this cake in one part, that is of 4500 grams. Then in that case I will have to have this cake divided in 4500 and 2250, and this cake in two parts, that is 4500 and 2700 grams. This will result in five parts: one of 4500 from this, one of 4500 from this, one of 4500 from this, and one part of 2250 gram and one part of 2700 grams. So these parts are not equal. So if I divide these pieces like this, it won't satisfy my condition that they are to be divided into equal parts. So basically, let me consider something else, say 50 grams. If I divide them into part of 50 grams, so 4500 will give me 90 into 50, that is 90 parts of 50 grams. 6750 will give me 135 into 50, that is 50, that is 135 parts of 52 grams. And 7200 will give me 144 into 50, that is 144 parts of 50 grams. Yes, now we have been able to divide them in equal parts. But then 90 parts plus 135 parts plus 144 parts, that's pretty high number. And since they have said that weights are, each part must be as heavy as possible, I would look for a number which is greater than 50 grams. I see that even if in place of 50 grams, even if I add 150 grams, I would have been able to divide them in equal parts. This would have given me 30 parts, this would have given me 45 parts, and this would have given me 48 parts. So basically, I have to look for a number which can divide all of them, and that number should be as high as possible. So I'm listing down the conditions. Number one, number should be divisible by 4500, 6750 and 7200, so that the pieces can be divided among equal parts. And my second condition is that number should be as high as possible. Now, the number which is divisible by 4500, sorry, it's not divisible by, it's divides. Number should divide. Yeah, number should divide 4500, 6750, 7200. Yeah, number should divide. For example, 50 divides each one of them, 150 divides each one of them. And second, number should be as high as possible. So now the number which divides all three of them is a factor of 4500, 6750 and 7200. And since it divides all three of them, I can call it a common factor because it divides all three of them. Common factor between them. Second, it should be as high as possible. So highest common factor in that case. So the problem is nothing but finding out the HCF of my three quantities. HCF of 4500, 6750 and 7200. So from the problem, although it was not given directly that you have to find the HCF, but from the conditions of the problem we have inferred that. So let's find the HCF. Then again it goes by 3, 500, 750 and 800. Now next factor, it is divisible by is 2, so 250, 375 and 400. Next is 5 will give me 50, 75 and 80. One more 5 will give me 10, 15 and 16. Now between 10, 15 and 16 I don't find any factor, any common factor, so I will stop dividing. So my HCF is equal to 3 into 3 into 2 into 5 into 5, which is 450. So highest common factor of these three quantities is 450. So 450 will result in 4500 being divided into 10 parts, 6750 being divided into 15 parts, and 7200 being divided into 16 parts. 16 into 450 is 7200. So total pieces of cake I will have is 10 plus 15 This is 15 plus 16, that is 41. Now let's go back to the question. So we have taken care of first two conditions, and then they said that if one such part is served to each guest, then what is the minimum number of guests that could be served? So now, since we have made sure that the piece is as big as possible, will automatically result in less number of total pieces. So that will automatically result in less number of guests served. So automatically minimum number of guests served with this condition will be 41. So that's my answer. Since 41 is not present in any of the options, I would mark none of these and move on. Coming to another problem. Now this is again a very interesting problem. So it goes like this. Once I had been to post office to buy 5 rupee, 2 rupee and 1 rupee stamp. So these are the denominations of these stamps. I paid clerk rupees 20. And since he had no change, he gave me 3 more 1 rupee stamps. So effectively clerk returned him 20 minus 3 equal to 7, means he returned him 3 rupees. That means he bought initially 17 was the 17 rupees stamps was what he bought. So he went to buy stuff, or in this case stamps, of rupees 17, because when you give somebody rupees 20 and he returns back you something which is valued at 3 rupees, that means you are buying a stuff of rupees 17. So that means he went to buy stamps of rupees 17. If the number of stamps of each type I had ordered initially was more than one, so from rupees 17 he ordered more than one stamp of each kind. Then what was the total number of stamps that I bought? Okay. Now we don't have anything to form an equation out here, because I don't know that how many 1 rupee, how many 2 rupee and how many 5 rupee stamps he wanted to bring. I just know that he wanted to bring stamps of rupees 17. But then they have said one thing, that he ordered more than one stamp of each kind. So that means he ordered minimum of 2 stamps of rupee 1, 2 stamps of rupee 2 and 2 stamps of rupee 5, which gives me the total value of 2 into 1 plus 2 into 2 plus 2 into 5, which will sum up to 10 plus 4 plus 2, that is 16. So he ordered at least 2 stamps of rupee 1, rupee 2 and rupee 5. That means minimum he ordered stamps of rupees 16. But actual order is rupees 17. That means he ordered stamp worth rupee 1 more than minimum. So obviously the one extra stamp which he ordered over the minimum stamp was rupee 1 stamp. So rupees 17 is made up of 3 1 rupee stamp and 2 rupee stamps and two 5 rupee stamps. So sorry about that. That was one of the annoying windows which you sometimes get if you have multiple applications open. So it had three 1 rupee stamp, two 2 rupee stamps and three 5 rupee stamps. That means total he had 3 plus 2 plus 2, 7 stamps ordered initially, and 3 extra stamps which postman gave him instead of change. So that is 7 plus 3, 10 stamps in all were bought by him. So I will choose option A and move on. Next I will be picking up level 2 problem. So it is level 2 problem number 24 in your assignment. It goes like this. P and Q are two positive integers such that PQ equal to 64. So which of the following can be P plus Q? Once again, this is not a direct question where I can form my equation and tell my answer. I have to do some trials over the question to get to the answer. So if PQ equal to 64 and P and Q are positive integers, there are multiple possibilities. First of them is 1 comma 64, that P is 1, Q is 64, or other way around. Second is 2 comma 32. Third is 4 comma 16, and fourth is 8 comma 8. So we can have a product of 64 as a result of combination of following positive integers. Now 1 plus 64 is 65. So yes, it is possible for me to have 65 as my value. 2 plus 32 is 34. 4 plus 16 is 20. Since 20 is also there in the options, so it is possible for the value to be 20, and 8 plus 8 is 16. So it is possible for the sum of two integers to be 16 as well. The only odd man out I can see is 35. So I will mark 35 since they have asked which of the following cannot be value of P plus Q. It is 35 and I will move on. Coming to last question in this, that is from 25 to 27, level 2 problem again. So they have once again asked me that A, B, C and D collect 1 rupee coins following the given pattern. Together they collect 100 coins. So I am not aware of individually A, B, C, D coins. So let's say that they collect A, B, C and D coins respectively. And total coins they have is 100. So A plus B plus C plus D is equal to 100. Each one of them has collected even number of coins, even number, and each one of them collect at least 10 coins. So I know that A is greater than equal to 10, B is greater than equal to 10, C is greater than equal to 10, and D is greater than equal to 10. No two of them collected same coins. So A not equal to B, not equal to C, not equal to D. Then there is a bunch of questions you are supposed to answer. So what I will do is I will solve the first one, that is 25th one, and expect you to solve 26 and 27 as an exercise. Just in case you are not getting the answer, you can always look out for the solutions of this assignment, whose link was given above in this video and also pasted in the description of this video. So let's get back to our question, it is like this. So they have 100 coins. So they have said maximum number of coins collected by any one of them cannot exceed. So one of them will get maximum coins if other three get minimum coins. Now for other three to get minimum number of coins, other three should get at least 10 each. But since no two people can get same number of coins, and also all of them have even number of coins, that means other three will have to have minimum 10, 12 and 14 coins respectively, because we can't have 10, 10, 10. No, we can't have 10, 11, 12, because then 11 will be odd number. So it has to be 10, 12 and 14. So all three are different and all three are even numbers. So minimum coins other three can have is 10, 12 and 14. So together minimum coins other three can have is equal to 10 plus 12 plus 14, which is 36. That means maximum coins one person can have is 100 minus 36, which is 64. Let's see if that is present in our one of the options or not. So yes, it is present as an option A for question number 25. So once again, I am reiterating that I am leaving question number 26 and 27 for you to find out. Just in case you are struggling with the solution, you can have a look at the solutions document for this assignment. So in our next video, we will be continue discussion on problem solving techniques. We will be coming up with some fresh problems from the assignment and discuss the techniques of solving them. Till then, goodbye. See you in the next video.